Hi, it's the Reckless Retiree here, and I haven't put out a video in a while, so I thought I would explain what I'm doing here. I can't remember if I put out a video about this or not. Sometimes I make videos and never get around to editing them and putting them on YouTube. So I'll just explain this again. This is some perforated drain pipe. I think it's 4 inches. And I'm making it into a linear generator, what I hope to be a linear generator. As you can see, I've wrapped magnetic wire, around in the grooves. The grooves are just really sweet to make a coil in. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at this point. And I have another spool of wire, so I hope to have maybe 18 when I get done. And the reason I'm going with linear with my tree sway generator is the distance the trees move varies greatly depending on the wind, which makes sense. But if the wind's really powerful, like 20, 30 miles an hour, those things can move, the tips of the trees can move 4 or 5 feet. And what I'm hoping to do, which I have unsuccessfully done at this point, is to connect 2 trees together, basically. Put a pulley on the top of one tree, put a pulley on the top of another tree, then run a line across the 2 so that you get the distance moved of 2 trees when they move away from each other, which they do. And so that will increase the length that the line moves. And I've used various methods. The method I used last was a very powerful fishing magnet. But the thing is, a fishing magnet, I think you need to have the north-south poles passing the coils. And with the fishing magnet, it's the flat sides that are north and south, and the round around the outside is not. So you have to turn it sideways to get the north-south. The thing I liked about the fishing magnet is it was about the same right size to go down in and out of this, just barely, scraping the sides. And I got a response, but I don't think it's as good a response as I could get. So what I did was I took a water bottle, and you might see the circles under the tape. Those are magnets. And I put magnets on the water bottle and with some glue. I put glue on the outside of the water bottle, some tacky stuff. And then I put the magnets down. And I did it north south that way, and then from here to here is north south. But I don't think that's the best way to do it, but I have it now, so that's what I'm going to use first. I'm not going to just take it apart and redo it. So this will go down back and forth inside the tube. Then you have your north south scraping by the coils. You want it as close as you can possibly get it, but yet at the same time move up and down easily. So what I'm going to do is use this wire to make as many coils as possible. That way I get a greater distance. This is the reason why I like this linear method. I've had struggles trying to get the linear converted into a circular motion and to turn a generator that way. And you're limited on how far you can move. You have to know how far you're moving, and I don't know how far it's going to move with the trees moving in the wind. So I'm going to try this linear method. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is that I've been making these coils 100 turns. And I think this is 24 gauge. Yeah, 24 gauge magnetic wire. So I've been making it 100 turns because that's what fills in this groove. But I think to get more coils, over a longer distance, because the cost is prohibitive to do it 100 turns at every one up and down this thing. It cost me hundreds of dollars just for the one generator, and I want to have multiple generators connected together so I get the most voltage I can from the trees moving. So these are all 100 turns except up to this point, and I don't even remember how many turns that is because the wire ran out when I was in the middle of doing it. But what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to make them 50 turns and try to get a larger distance covered. And what I did was make it all one phase, I guess you'd say. In other words, I was just connecting these together in series. And so I was taking the ends, I was wrapping around 100 times. I had two ends, obviously, the start and the end, the beginning and the end. And then I would connect the end of one to the beginning of the next and keep going on like that. But then I decided also, at this point, I'm going to just run it 50 turns, then jump over the bump and just run 50 turns and not cut it off. And because I was debating whether to make it 3-phase or 1-phase, single phase. But a little bit of research I read said that the benefit of single or triple phase is that it is more efficient. At this point, I'm not concerned about efficiency. I'm concerned about, well, efficiency in making it, I suppose I should say, to get it done as quickly as possible. So, as I may have explained before in a video, I don't remember, I have this drill just loosely, I have a bolt, a plate and a bolt on the end of this pipe. I actually have a piece of PVC on the inside of this drain to give it stiffness. And then I have a plate on the end of that, actually it's a cap of a bottle, I think, with a bolt in the center, which is loose. And then I have that connected there as my live end, I think you call that. And then on this end, I have same thing, except I have the bolts tight. And then I have that driven by this drill. Now, the tough thing to do at this point is you have to keep your touch just right. I don't know exactly how to get this to lock at a low speed. Maybe I should try that. Just push it in a little bit and lock it and see if it'll hold that. That'd be nice, except you can't start and stop it very easily that way. And you need to be able to stop if something goes awry. But anyway, so then I put this coil of wire on this rod and suspend it in this box. And then that just comes unwrapped really easily. And it's relatively easy to do. It's time consuming, tedious, and it'd be really nice to have an automatic counting mechanism, but I have to just do it in my head. You'll see there's a green stripe right here. Just count every time that goes by. So, so that's the plan. I'm going to fill up the grooves on this drain pipe as much as possible, so I get as much distance as possible. I like to fill it up, at least 4 feet, at least 4 feet. And that way when the wind blows and I get that 4-foot travel of the magnetic what would you call this? Stator? That's not a stator. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, core. When I get that 4-foot motion, I'll induce current all along the way, and of course they're all connected, so it's really just one big coil, but extended over a length. And we'll have to see what that does. But then, what my plan at this point is, my modified plan, or improved plan, I guess you'd say, is I want to have one center tree and 6 or more trees around it. and have them all come to the center tree with the lines going down. Then I want to have these. Now I put this inside of a piece of ductwork, steel ductwork, that holds it nice and stiff, and I have, the one I have is in a concrete, has is cemented into a bucket, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, this slides down in there, and but what I want to do is I want to have 6 around the tree held up with Velcro straps. That way they can be there a long time and the tree won't adversely affect the tree, kill the tree. Actually, like bungee cords would probably be better, something elastic. So I want to have 6 around the tree, 6 different surrounding trees, all coming down the one trunk into these that are bungeed around the base of the trunk. And I want to take a photograph of the bark and then make that into a wallpaper, if you will, a contact paper that would wrap around the steel pipe, and therefore it would look like the tree trunk and therefore blend in. So as I've said in the past, what I want to do with my generator, one of the benefits, one of the positives, is that you don't know it's there. You don't see it. You have a thin line, fishing line, coming out of the top of the tree, going down the trunk of the tree into the camouflage tube. Now, I will have to have a collection device, and what I want to try to use is my jackery, which is right here. And if it'll work, I don't know if it'll have enough voltage slash current to work. But if it does, then you just have the wires leading, connect all the generators in series. That would give me the most voltage, and then connect that to the jackery, and then have the jackery under something. And my original thought was a fake rock, one of those plastic fake rocks. So then when you looked into the woods, you would see nothing. You would see no generators. But you'd be charging up that jackery. Of course, that's expensive. Each jackery, I think this jackery costs $500. So if you had a jackery per generating set of trees, that goes up in price. But maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. Maybe I want to do batteries, but with the battery you got to have a voltage regulator and so forth. So each one of these tubes has to have a bridge rectifier to turn it to DC, and then I think capacitor or capacitors to accumulate the voltage, and then from there it goes to the jackery. That's my plan. That's my hope that it will work. So that's coming. It's going to be a lot of work to get there, and one of the hardest things, as I've explained before, is it's really hard to have to get those lines up in the tree without problem. And the method I'm using now is the fishing arrow, shooting the fishing arrow over the tree with line, and then I think I'll tie the one end to the ground maybe, and then the other end go over the tree to the center tree, where there'll be another pulley. It'll go over pulley. I guess there won't be a pulley on that tree then. Anyway, we'll see. So I'm hopefully going to do that this spring, summer, get that going, get one of these whole systems working, and see what kind of power I get. But I think one of the negatives of alternative energy is what I'm trying to say, windmills and solar panels and such, is they're very visual. You can see them from a long way off. And that has two negatives. One is that you know, just isn't very cosmetically pure. And the other thing is that if we were to have an SHTF situation, then one of the negatives people who are preppers say is that you will then, people will be attracted to you because they see your device, your electrical device, your solar panels, your windmill, and then they'll want to get in on that action, which could be a problem. But if you have a generation system that nobody knows is there, then that won't be a problem. So we'll see how it progresses. And like I said, I have these magnets, I think, on here in the less efficient or less powerful way. And what I'm going to do is, once I test this out as is, I'm going to take them off, and I'm going to make a row of north, a row of south, a row of north, a row of south. So no matter where it hits the coil, it'll get your cycling voltage. So stay tuned to the next exciting adventure of the reckless retiree.